global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness Today. Some hours ago, Yusuf Datti visited the former president of Nigeria. I'm talking about Goodluck Jonathan. It was a lovely one. A lot of pictures are all over the social media. But there's a message Goodluck Jonathan, our former president, have decided to tell Nigerians. In fact, honestly, I keep saying this. I hope Nigerians will listen. In another news also on the same matter, Reno Omokri have decided to talk to obedient supporters. He's no more accusing them of anything. Now he's pleading, he's begging. In fact, he's asking. So we're going to find out what it is Reno Omokri is telling Nigerians, obedient Nigerians, to do for him that is causing me to smile here in the studio. Okay, but let's start with what the former president has got to say. According to the news, ahead of the 2023 general elections, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has called on Nigerians to vote into office politicians that are really eager to serve the country. The former president also charged Nigerians to be circumspect in their exercise of their voting rights, saying, and I quote him, "We must shift away from the politics of bread and butter." The ex-president stated this in his paper titled Lasting Legacy, Key to Nigerian Development Issues, at the one-year memorial lecture in honor of late Captain Hossa Okubo in Abuja. According to him, the present crop of leaders inherited a country that was already balkanized into 3 regions, and later 4 regions. Jonathan said, and I quote, "I believe that the legacy of nationhood and roots of unity were weak at Nigeria's independence, and not much has been done since then to strengthen the base of the union. The decision to shift away from the regional arrangement to a national focus, where Nigerians will begin to see their country as their common heritage, need a different orientation, planning, strategy, and adaptation. My charge to Nigerians is to be circumspect in the exercise of their voting right. We must shift away from the politics of bread and butter and ensure that we do not elect leaders that will buy our conscience today and mortgage the future of our children and our grandchildren. We should endeavor to elect only those that will leave legacies of unity, peace, and development." At the event, former Minister of Education, Dr. Eze Ekwesili, urged politicians to develop the educational sector. She lamented would continue to elude Nigerians and other African countries if the political class do not invest in education. She said, "When you look at the parameter and issues in our country, especially the current data, it shows that the continent is in crisis, and it has to deal with some of the things that the former president Jonathan said about society, is that 9 out of every 10 Africans do not have the literacy and numerical skills required of children of their age in other parts of the world." In a similar vein, spokesperson for the Atiku presidential campaign, Dino Malayi, recalled how Captain Hossa assisted him in the past. He described Jonathan as the most productive immediate past president Nigeria ever had. Meanwhile, former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, said Jonathan left a lasting legacy that sets the presidential pedestals for his successors. He said, "Part of your legacy was when you launched the Amajiri School, and your thought was that no Nigerian child should be left on the street, and also appropriated special funds," he said. In addition, the Olu of Warri and son-in-law of the deceased decried the glorification of stomach infrastructure in Nigerian political system. While lauding Jonathan for not obtaining the presidential election in 2015, the monarch decried the lack of trust in the country. He said, "As a nation, we are in a situation of raw survival, which fosters an environment that escalates grievances and creates social chaos. And before we know it, we are in a culture of deception, and there's no peace where there is no trust. And there's no trust where there's no truth in words, which is why it is easy for not just politicians, anyone really to just say something and they don't believe in what they are saying." Wow, this is very strong. But in the news, Reno Omokri have decided to plead with obedient supporters. Well, according to the news, no one would actually believe that Reno Omokri, a diehard supporter of Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), will ever humble himself before the supporters of Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party and the former governor of Anambra State. Reno Omokri, who has been opposing the presidency of Peter Obi, who was a member of the People's Democratic Party but defected to Labour Party a few days to PDP presidential candidate. Days ago, report has it that Reno Omokri appealed to supporters of Peter Obi, who are better known as Obedients, not to forget their roots, that is the People's Democratic Party, whose presidential candidate is Atiku Abubakar. In that post, Reno Omokri claimed that Peter Obi originated from PDP, therefore his supporters should come together so that they can support Atiku Abubakar and take the power from the all-ruling progressive Congress, whose presidential candidate is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Over the week, Reno Omokri has been trying so hard to win the hearts of Peter Obi's supporters. Before now, Reno Omokri sees Peter Obi and his supporters as a threat to Atiku Abubakar's presidency. He has been condemning Peter Obi and his supporters despite the presence of his past tweet about the presidential candidate of Labour Party on social media, where he spoke positively about him. Reno Omokri being a hard nut to crack to Obedience, however, his recent tweet about Obedience are somewhat surprising. He therefore humbly urged them, that's Obedience supporters, to consider voting Atiku if they know in their heart that he is the most viable candidate. And this is what he has to say. He said, "Dear Obedient, I appeal to you. Remember your roots. Atiku and Peter Obi were at a team in 2019 because Atiku associates with the values you praise. It is why I humbly urge you to consider voting Atiku if you know in your heart that he's the most viable candidate." I'm sure Nigerians don't think in that light. Quite a lot of people have been reacting. I mean, honestly, it's almost like comedy relief. Okay, but let's look at this critically. That aside, you look at the pedigree of both candidates. Judge, use your conscience. Let's leave stomach infrastructure. The same stomach infrastructure. The former president of Nigeria is saying, Goodluck Jonathan, His Excellency, God bless your heart, sir. He's saying the same thing. And this, with due respect to Reno, look, the former president and many Nigerians out there say, look, this is not the time for stomach infrastructure. This is not the time for bread and butter. Give me. You do that, you sell the future of your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and posterity will hold you responsible for every inaction that takes Nigeria to that route. Let's go beyond what we stand to gain. Let's go beyond what our political gain is going to look like, or financial gain. Can we not just salvage this country? Nigeria right now is not in the position where we begin to say a miloko or have been contesting for the last 30 years. What do you have to bring in the table? Open yourself, tell Nigerians, and when you're campaigning, tell Nigerians how you're going to make it happen. Nigeria is like, we are already in frying pan. No, we're no more in frying pan, we're in fire. We need people who are thinking outside the box to run savage. Not the one that will enter and begin to carry blame game. We're in serious situation here. And it has to take serious-minded candidate to bring us out. Let's leave sentiment and what to stand to gain. And truly, honestly salvage Nigeria. Let's go wrap it up. Let's meet in our comment section. What's the take? Have a nice time. God bless you. Bye.